Notes from my July 2024 reading of a 2008 biography on Nelson Mandela by John Carlin. Today is Friday, 12 July 2024. I finished the book today. I started it on Monday, 8 July 2024, so it took me 5 days and it was 274 pages. I am Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. It's a biography on South Africa politician and sports enthusiast. It's about the collision of those two things. Nelson Mandela is playing the enemy, Nelson Mandela and the Game That Made a Nation by John Carlin, 2008 Penguin Books edition paperback, and I'll put the ISBN in the video description. This is my personal copy. Is there anything else for the introduction? I said how long it took me. So it was what? Over 50 pages a day per average. Okay, so let's just go in. Book notes, including construction and design. So this is actually a visual pulled out of the Rugby World Cup that this covers. This is dedicated, okay, yeah, this is, okay, so that's how this is relevant. The text is full page, and name of the book, like the playing the enemy part. So the title, and then the after the colon is like the subtitle. So the Nelson Mandela and the Game That Made a Nation, so that's the subtitle, so this is the title, so playing the enemy. And then the name of the chapter along with page numbers at the top. Sometimes there was a blank page between chapters, sometimes there was not. It didn't have that many break-in paragraphs. It did have a few, but not that many. Let's see, chapters were Roman numeraled and then had a theme or something that was of importance to the person. And it tended to be names for this particular author. There is a table of contents. There was black and white or grayscale images, though they were printed on the same pages as the text. They weren't like the shiny pages, kind of, so it was in line with the text. Yes. I liked the formatting. It felt like a book. Okay, reading notes. Some might classify this as nonfiction. I would say it came across a lot as kind of opinionated. There was like, it's about the 1995 Rugby World Cup and South Africa kind of getting into agreement between the different peoples that live there enough that they can compete at the competition and host the competition, or the hosts. And there's like a good, like, 50 pages where it does talk about the rugby, and then there's like 100 pages where the author might be a white supremacist. That's my best guess. I don't actually know, but I was like reading it and I was like, this is, I've brought up Cristiano Ronaldo and a yellow card where like my best guess was like the ref was like, don't distract me, so he gave him a yellow card. This is like 100 pages of white supremacist red card distraction. I was like, the red card, I'm a little distracted there. And then it gets back to the rugby. And I think the politics was supposed to like kind of make a case for like this was a big deal when this happened. Like if I were, that's my best guess. Okay, so I'm gonna go through some of my reading notes that I took. Let's see, I'm not gonna take the, in case I screw up on filming or I take too long. Die Groot crocodile, the big crocodile. So if you're wondering what the word Groot means, it means big. Right. So that's become a word that's been popularized more recently. But right, that word comes from somewhere. Comes from real peoples, right? Real languages. Yeah. Page 52. So I have actually been to the cell that Nelson Mandela lived in on Robben Island. I've been to Robben Island. I've been to the lime quarry. I've been to his cell. I have not been in his cell. He actually changes prisons from Robben Island to Pollsmoor, which I was just, I'm making a note of it. That's like a note to self, and you can enjoy that note if that makes any sense or meaning to you, but it means something to me. As yes, that's right. Okay, and then it matters because when they talk about his release from prison, Nelson Mandela, right? It wasn't actually the release from Robben Island, right? There was like prison transfer in there. So I thought that was important. Let's see. Oh, page 85 is the stylistic approach of the author that I'm, as a writer, am choosing to highlight because there were a few times where I was like, oh, that's clever, from like a writer perspective. He says, when he's talking about something that Nelson Mandela said, he being the author, to communicate how it was spoken by Nelson Mandela, adds in a quote, as if underlining the sentence as he spoke it, unquote. So I'm quoting the author. That's like the between the parts of what Nelson Mandela said. I was like, that was clever. And he did that. And so like there was another part of the book where he like was trying to emphasize the words without bolds or italics or underlining it himself, because that's not what the speech was or whatever like that, so the author trying to add their own emphasis on how it was said. It's like, oh, that's clever. The author trying to be a little bit original from my perspective. Right? As somebody who likes honesty and transparency, that's very, let me provide my interpretation. So I liked that. Then, let's see, I have two kind of related marks. Let's say, did I give you a page number on that one? That was page 85. Okay. Page 124 and 122. It delves into this white supremacist politics, which was apartheid in South Africa. And so essentially, if I had to sum it up, it's like, in trying to understand it, and I'm bringing it up because it's relevant for kind of how society in the United States of America operates these days. And so I'm like, maybe some big deal South Africans brought apartheid and the tendencies of white people in Africa to the United States of America, right? And so it's kind of an emphasis on colonization and taking land from the original peoples by saying, it's our sacred land, And so like they even use the term bored Moses, right? Like, this is our sacred land. This is for us what Israel is for people who practice Judaism. Only, the Christians have done that over 100 countries now. So they're just lying. It's a con man scheme, but people buy it. And then, but doesn't mean they're happy. It suppresses the original peoples, and then the end of that all being like, oh, we're natives because it's our chosen land, right? So there's a progression. And then what was it that and then kind of technological advance in robots, and that was a big deal even in Africa. How to talk about how bad the white people were, and then space and and aliens and stuff, right? That's how they treated these non-white South Africans, the white people did. And so I was thinking, if all those things align, along with the emphasis on farming and taking farmland away from the original peoples, I'm like, that's like white supremacy in America these days. Did Elon Musk bring it with him? He escaped. He was supposed to serve in the military to protect the original people, South Africans, and he deserted the country and decided to bring white supremacist politics to the United States of America. Can we just kill the guy already? Yeah. Kind of thing. All right. So that was that. Page 199. So a French guy from the French team. The French gets beaten in the quarterfinals of this 1995 World Cup and talks to the South African team and is kind of like, provides the take on, right, it's more important than a win or a loss for South Africa, right? It's about meaning and uniting a people, and I'll kind of touch on that. But I was like, yeah, back in June 2024 on this YouTube channel, I did book dedication for Tanis Leonhardi for Arna Anderson, my autobiography, book length, kind of thing. And it wasn't the final thing, right? I didn't put that out because I set some world record, or I achieved something for the first time. I set that out there because I wanted to make it known that I cared about what it was dedicated to. Right? If somebody's a gold digger or doesn't really care, they will wait until and not actually say what it's dedicated to until after they have set the world record, right? Or after they've done something for the first time, right? Or won that gold medal or whatever it was. And so I was like, France was smart. They were like, it should matter to you no matter the outcome. And so somebody might not be really pure of heart if they wait until after they've done something and then say what it was dedicated to. Not necessarily, but I'm just, it was good on, it's a good on the French person to realize that. Like if it's dedicated to, if blank world record is dedicated to X, but they don't say it till after, does it really mean anything to that person? Or are they just getting more headlines and press for themselves and X? You know, I don't. Right? Because I published in advance and try to share it in advance, it gives time for me and my thing, not X, right, to get it right. My thing has a name. That was for the case that I published with Nemzeti. Right? So I even named it. Right? Okay. So the page 222, this kind of gets into, so the Springbok and the green jersey for the Springboks were like, for a lot of people, like that's a white symbol, and so there's a what kind of makes, and very much compared to world leaders today, Nelson Mandela still stands like head and shoulders above like kind of anybody I've heard of, in terms of we need to share these symbols and learn to make them our own, right? So he doesn't say get rid of the green jersey, he doesn't say get rid of the Springbok, he goes let's figure out a word for it in our own language, right? A Springbok, right? Let's take and make the green meaningful for us. And so it's about sharing like the words of the original peoples with the people who moved in after, right? so to speak. But he does a very remarkable job of sharing, right? It's a two-way transference of what matters to each other, right? He gets to wear the cap and the jersey that mattered to white people, and then the white people get to play for them, right? So there's a lot of people are like too possessive these days, or it has to be blank, and Nelson Mandela was like, let's share. Right. That's why he's so unparalleled. Okay. And let's see, page 231. It talks about the Maori dance from the New Zealand team, and I was like, right to represent the original peoples in international competition. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then the South Africans had their original people's song, kind of thing. And I was like, when I lived in Hawaii, depending on where we went and what we were doing, the native Hawaiians had us ask the spirits of the land for permission to be there and do what we were going to do. So it's like, some places get it right. The United States of America, the lower 48 sure don't. Yeah, especially not National Football League level. Okay, page 264, it talks about a bunch of Mandelas. I was like, that's like Einstein's. I went to Einstein Middle School, and the most famous Einstein was not Albert Einstein for the Einstein I went to school. So, but good. There's like, make sure people aren't racist. That goes both ways. It's not just one race or ethnicity. There's names have many peoples, right? There we go. So, in conclusion, marked full book number 26 for me for the 2024 year. July 2024. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. And I'm trying. And I finished this one. So there we go.